From the beginning, the world had already decided that Will and Elfaria shouldn't walk side by side. And yet, everything about them seems to conspire against that decision. Even before any title, power, or recognition, there's an invisible thread connecting them, a thread made of promise, separation, and a distance that only grows with time. Will is born without magic into a world that measures value exclusively by it. A mistake, a deviation, a foregone conclusion. From an early age, he learns that no matter how hard he tries, he will always be seen as someone who doesn't belong. Meanwhile, Elfaria follows the opposite path, an absolute prodigy, a mage whose existence redefines expectations, quickly elevated to the top, surrounded by admiration, power, and responsibilities that few can comprehend. The contrast is cruel. While Will struggles to survive in a system that rejects him, Elfaria is swallowed up by a system that exalts her. But what makes this story so unsettling isn't just the difference between them. It's the fact that they both keep looking in the same direction, at each other. There is a promise that has never been forgotten, a silent desire that remains alive even when everything seems to conspire to extinguish it. Will doesn't seek recognition out of pride. He doesn't challenge the world out of empty ambition. He moves forward because he believes, because he promised to reach someone who is far beyond his reach. Every fall, every wound, every humiliation is absorbed as part of this inevitable path. Elfaria, on the other hand, carries a different weight. The higher she climbs, the more lonely she becomes. The top is not a place of freedom. It's a place of constant vigilance. She cannot make mistakes. She cannot hesitate. She cannot choose freely. Even so, amidst the overwhelming expectations, her attention insists on returning to one who stayed behind. Not out of nostalgia, but because it will represent something her world cannot offer. Sincerity, destiny, in this context, doesn't appear as something romantic or comfortable. It appears as a conflict, as a force that pushes them both in opposite directions while insisting on keeping them connected. Will defies the logic of a magical world, wielding only his will and his sword. Elfaria defies the isolation imposed by perfection by continuing to wait for someone who shouldn't matter anymore. And perhaps that's exactly what makes their relationship so powerful. They aren't destined because the world favors them. They are destined because they resist the world. Every step Will takes is a direct denial of the rules that have condemned him since birth. Every silence from Elfaria is a refusal to forget who she was before becoming a symbol. If you've already perceived this silent tension, this kind of bond that doesn't depend on grand declarations, then you understand why this story is so captivating. And if this kind of narrative, where destiny isn't a gift but a challenge, truly engages you, perhaps it makes sense to stay here. Like, subscribe, not as an empty request, but as a silent agreement between the storyteller and the listener who believe in difficult promises. In the end, the question isn't whether Will and Elfaria were destined from beginning. The real question is whether the world will be able to cope when, and if, they finally meet on the same level. Because if that happens, it won't just be the fulfillment of an ancient promise. It will be proof that not even an entire system can erase a bond that was born before any rule. And some stories don't exist to show who is stronger. They exist to prove who never gave up.